behalf of the Georgia Hospital Association Board of Trustees, welcome to the 2013 GHA Summer Meeting. This summer meeting is unlike any other. This week, we bid a happy farewell to our recently retired GHA President and CEO, Joe Parker. Joe retired on June 30th, having served exactly 35 years as a GHA employee and an amazing 27 years as GHA's president. Today, in a final show of gratitude to the man who made GHA into one of the most successful and influential hospital associations in the country, we present to Joe GHA's most prestigious award, the GHA Gold Honor Award of Excellence. In GHA's 83-year history, only 7 individuals have received this rare honor: Norman Burkett, Dan Barker, Bill Pinkston, Charlie Foster, Bernie Brown, Larry Sanders, and Ben Underwood. In 1986, the GHA Board of Trustees, led by Chairman Jack Turner, took a chance on GHA's energetic, 40-year-old Vice President of Legislation and Finance and selected him to lead the association. That decision turned out to be the best decision ever made by any GHA board. Since 1986, under Joe's leadership, GHA has grown from 25 to 55 full-time employees and added 2 successful for-profit subsidiaries that have greatly benefited Georgia hospitals. More importantly, in the 27 years under Joe's leadership, GHA has become one of the strongest and most influential trade associations under the Gold Dome in Atlanta. Shortly after being named GHA's top executive, one of Joe's major accomplishments came in the late 1980s. GHA partnered with the Department of Medical Assistance to form one of the country's most successful hospital financing programs, the Georgia Indigent Care Trust Fund. That program saved several hospitals serving low-income areas from financial ruin, and most importantly, provided access to care for hundreds of thousands of Georgians. Since then, under Joe's careful leadership, GHA has helped engineer numerous legislative victories, including thwarting attempts to weaken Georgia's Certificate of Need law, creating the nation's strongest tort reform legislation, and this year's passage of the Medicaid financing program. As Joe's hospital colleagues will attest, his unique gifts of listening, building consensus, and fostering unity place him in an elite category of leaders.
Joe began his career at GHA responsible for government relations and finance. General James Oglethorpe was governor at the time. Just kidding, Joe. Actually, George Busby from Albany was governor at the time. And Joe established a relationship with the governor and with many legislators, including Newt Gingrich. Joe became quickly recognized and trusted as an honest broker of information and a gentleman. He was a gentleman of the first order. And I think both those qualities served him very well in the membership.
I think Joe was constantly looking to the future and realizing what the next big issue is going to be and laying the proper groundwork to successfully negotiate that issue. Whether it was the CON issue and the for-profit versus not-for-profit issues of the 90s, or the recent issues over bed tax and continuation. I think Joe brings to the table a tremendous credibility with our elected officials and with the regulatory leaders in the state of Georgia. And most of us, I think, appreciate the uniqueness of that relationship where Joe has maintained such a high level of trust with those people over the years.
GHA has really been looked at as a leader, and in my opinion, and I've been around for a while, I think the GHA has become one of the best hospital associations in the industry, in large part to Joe and the people that Joe selected over the years.
Well, one sign of Joe's leadership, I think, was the respect that he had all over the country. He was asked to serve on the board of the American Hospital Association. Very few, as they say, allied executive CEOs have been asked to serve in that role, and he's one of them. And I think it was a good tribute to his stature of leadership across the country. They recognize when they look down in Georgia, and a lot of people when they look down in Georgia, they don't think of Georgia as the icon of leadership, but in this instance it was.
Throughout most of Joe's tenure as president of GHA, 100% of Georgia's acute care hospitals have remained members. This is a rare accomplishment among hospital associations.
You know, Joe has that ability, I think, to relate to others, to listen well. That's a vanishing skill, but he listens well. And he does something that we don't see done enough in Washington. He can reach across the aisle. And I think one of Joe's greatest skills is with a very diverse membership, Joe is able to build consensus more times than not. I mean, almost always. He has built a consensus. I think that comes from his ability to listen, treat people with dignity and respect, and then get to a consensus.
Well, that's another characteristic of great leaders, is the ability to gain consensus and unite different points of view. Joe is masterful at that. He respects all opinions. He plays no preferences. While there may be differences among us as individual hospital CEOs or hospital systems, Joe does not favor one over the other. He's all-inclusive when it comes for the betterment of Georgia hospitals, and it shows with the unanimity among our membership. It's very clear that Joe has led us well and has become the face of GHA in that regard.
He's a connector. He connects with people and knows how to build relationships. I think Joe's perspective is with GHA is not only is it a trade organization, an organization that represents hospitals and healthcare institutions in the state, but it's an opportunity to get people together and strengthen relationships across the state.
As you will see, Joe's colleagues and friends from across Georgia, and in fact from across the country, have been anxious to come and honor and thank Joe and his lovely wife Lynn for their dedication and service over a lifetime to Georgia's hospitals, and to congratulate Joe on receiving this prestigious award.
And I hope he and Lynn have a wonderful retirement, and I'm an expert on retirement. I've done it several times. I hope Joe can be more successful at it than I've been.
Lynn and Bonnie, my wife, are very good friends. In fact, we count Lynn and Joe as our very dearest friends. We have been on many trips, both internationally and on the national basis, spent many happy hours together. Look forward to visiting with Joe and Lynn in the future in their home on Lake Martin. We want to also congratulate Joe on his receiving the GHA Gold Award for Excellence. Joe, we wish you and Lynn the best, and I love you, man.
I have only one thing to say. Thank you, Joe Parker. Thanks for all you've done for Georgia's hospitals since joining the GHA in 1978. Thanks for your leadership over the years here at the American Hospital Association. Your dedication was recognized in 2002 when we were honored to present you with the AHA Trustees Award. But that hardly begins to capture your many contributions to the association and hospitals across the country. In short, you've been a reliable and effective advocate for hospitals here in Washington and across the country. You've been a good friend to the AHA and to me. Barb and I wish you and Lynn the very best.
Congratulations to my good friend Joe Parker on your retirement from the Georgia Hospital Association. Joe, you've not only been a great friend, but you've been an individual who has conducted yourself in a very professional way on each and every occasion that you have represented GHA in Washington, Atlanta, and in other parts of the country. You're one of those individuals who makes us very proud to be associated with, and I'm very proud to call you my friend. We know that even in retirement, we haven't seen the last of Joe Parker. Wish you the best, my friend.
It is truly an honor and a privilege for me to pause for a moment and pay tribute to a great personal friend, a great public servant to Georgia, and a leader of the Hospital Association for 27 years, Joe Parker. I've known Joe for all those 27 years. In fact, the 35 years of his public service have pretty much matched the 35 years of my public service. I've seen him represent the best interest of healthcare, of hospitals, and of Georgians for years. He has the calm approach to lobbying and influencing people. He comes in with the facts. He sits down and talks about the cause and the effect, the cost and the benefit. He doesn't try and intimidate anyone through pressure. He tries to win them over through facts. That is truly a great representative of any trade association, and in this case, the Hospital Association of Georgia. But I love Joe for so many other reasons. One, he's kind and he's generous. He's a leader. He shares credit. He never takes credit for himself. I know he's retiring, and I know he's going to Alabama, and I know he's going to Lake Martin, and we will miss him very much. But Georgia's hospitals, Georgia's patients, and Georgia's doctors are all better off because of Joe Parker and his leadership. And it will be missed sorely in the years ahead in the state of Georgia and in the United States of America. God bless you, Joe Parker, and your family. Have a wonderful retirement.
I don't think anyone can replace Joe Parker, but I think his legacy, a great part of his legacy, is the excellent professional staff that he leaves behind at GHA. He served as such a mentor and a leader to us all throughout the years, and I think that will be his legacy. There'll never be another one like him.
It's a real honor and a distinct pleasure for me to present to you the 8th recipient of the Georgia Hospital Association Gold Honor Award of Excellence, my friend, Joe Parker.